Hi there, my name is Mike, and I've been making video games for all my professional life, and some of the games I helped make, you can see them here. And here are some of the games that I have made myself, by myself. And you can find them on Steam. Trustyship just released a few days ago. I'd appreciate your support, and you'd have a game all to yourself that you can have a lot of fun with. Anyway, let's move on. So, how are games made? I'm going to discuss this very briefly and very simply. There's essentially three areas in game development. There's design, programming, and aesthetic and sound, art and audio. Right? And here I have a very basic diagram of how it generally works. Now, this is debatable, and you know, people will have different experiences, but this is my general observation within the industry, and I may very well be wrong. People can correct me if they like, but generally speaking, the area that we will be focusing on the most is writing code, the programming aspect. We're going to be making the actual game, and we're going to make a game in 1 hour or less. We're going to go as fast as possible, and we're going to stay as simple as possible. Okay, we're going to make a small adventure game. So let's get started. All right, we'll begin not by covering the basics. The absolute basics will be completely gone in this project. I will assume that you know at least a few things about how to use Unity as a game engine. And I will also show you what our game is going to be about and what I've already done. Okay, so let's go step by step, one thing by one thing. Number one, down here, this little guy, this is our hero. Right? Say hello to our little hero. You see, he's got a sword. He's ready to fight. This here, this is an enemy. He's evil. He wants to hurt us. The way this is going to work is every time the hero makes contact with the hero is going to kill the enemy, but the enemy is going to damage the hero by 1 point, by 1 heart. These here, these are apples. The hero can pick up these apples to heal. Now, watch out, if the hero has all 3 of his health points, then the apple will be wasted. Okay, now let's move on down here. We have a door. Okay, you need a key to open a door. Let's find a key. There they are. This is a key. Okay, and then here we have a treasure. There's 3 treasures in each level. Well, we only have 1 level for this particular quick demonstration of how easy it is to make a game, as long as we understand a little bit of the language. Okay, then there's a few more things here. This here is a trap. It's like this blob of goop, purple. And that does it for all of the objects in the game. No, it does not. Look, the princess in distress. We need to go save her. She's tucked away in this little corner, protected by doors and guards and goop. It's terrible. We need to save her. And up here, well, what we have up here is a treasure. Not a treasure, what am I saying? Sorry. This is a user interface. So this is what's going to display our health, our treasure, and our keys. We can have a maximum of 3 keys. In fact, the way we're going to code the keys is that if you walk on a key and you already have 3, the key just gets ignored, doesn't get wasted, whereas the apples get wasted. Okay, in the treasure there's only 3, so that won't be a problem. All right, one more thing, there's a text here which will tell us if we won or we lost or anything like that. Now let's go through the assets really quickly. So I've got some assets for audio. There's a song and there's sounds. Okay, those are there for you to use. Then there's scripts that are already completed. After you've gone through the course, if you're getting stuck on anything, you can open these to understand what it is that they do. Okay. Then there's the scene, which is the current scene we're on. Scripts folder, which is empty. This is where we'll be working. Sprites. These are just the graphics of the game. There's the wall, the ground, and so on. And then there's some text stuff, which we don't particularly care about. Okay. Now, the scripts is where all of the code goes, and that's where we're going to be working. We're going to create this on the fly right away. So let's try and run the game now and see what happens. The music starts. That's because I've already placed a song in our audio source right here, and there's an audio source in the scene. Okay, sounds good. Pressing any key doesn't do anything. Yeah, that's because nothing's been coded. That's the thing with computers, they're not particularly clever, they don't know things. You need to tell them everything. Okay, so we're gonna begin by telling them things. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna move our little player. Okay, so to do that, we are going to create a new script which we're going to call player. Player. Okay, I created a C# script and then selected player. I'm now going to open the player in Visual Studio. Now, it's very probable that the completed scripts will load. There they are, so I'm going to close them all, and I'm just going to have the player. Now, I'm not going to explain what start and update are. I'm going to remove these. Okay. Well, I'm going to remove that bit. I'm going to leave update. What update is for, it's a method that gets called every frame. It's a loop. It keeps on repeating and repeating whatever is in there. And in here, we're going to check if the player is pressing any keys or anything like that, right? So we're going to say if, let me zoom in a bit so it's easier to see. If input, which is the class that handles all of the buttons and keys and everything like that, get key down, open round, key code dot, let's go with left arrow first. So if we press the left arrow, something needs to happen. We need to move. Well, to move, we need to know two things. We need to know our current position and our next position. To do that, we gotta save them. Now, our game is a very simple tile-based game. This means that our player will have certain X and Y coordinates. Let's see, -14 and -7. Okay, X -14, Y -7. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna save those coordinates. All right. So right here, we're gonna create a vector2int. This means it's going to be a variable, as we call it, meaning something that contains information, a small piece of information that will contain two pieces of information, an X and a Y. That's for the position. But it's also an int, which means it's a whole number, okay? Because our game only works with whole numbers. So it's going to be vector2int current position. Okay? Equals, and now we need to figure out how to calculate this, where the player script will go on the player object. Okay, so that means we can reach our own transform, which is what decides where we are in the scene. So we're going to go to the transform dot position dot x, for instance. Now that's missing some information. It's going to be all red. So we're going to say new vector2int. We need to build a new vector. Now the vector2 is composed of an X and a Y. So we need this X. The problem with this X is that it's a float, which means it's a decimal number. Okay. Now we need a whole number. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a mathematical function to round that to an integer. So we're going to round that number to an integer. Now it's an integer. So we have the X, I'm going to copy all of this, and now we have the Y. I'm going to close the second bracket, and now I'm going to put a semicolon. Let me tidy this up a little bit differently. There we go. New vector2int, the current position on the X, the current position on the Y, and now I've saved it as a current position. Now, I need to know where I'm going next. So I'm going to create another vector2int, which I'm going to call next position. And for now, it's going to be equal to the current position. Now, whenever I press the left arrow, let's take a look here. If we select our little player, eventually. Okay, if we select our little player, okay, we can move him. Right? Now if we press left, it needs to go here. Now, so let's take a look at his position. It's -14. If we press left, it'll go to -15. So -1. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take the next position and we're going to add to itself, another new vector to int, which we're going to create on the fly. There will go -1 on the x and 0 on the y. Like this. -1, 0. So this way we have added this particular directions to the next position. Okay? Now, obviously, if we've done the left arrow, it should be fairly easy to do the right arrow. The right arrow will go in the opposite direction. Easy. Now, what about the up and the down arrow? So let's paste them twice. Up arrow, down arrow. Definitely 0 on the x. The up arrow is going to go positive on the y, and the down arrow is going to be negative on the y. So we're going to be using the arrows to move. Now let's try and see if this works. It won't work immediately. And here's why. Because the player doesn't have that script on him. So we're going to drag the player script right here. There's the player script. Okay, let's hit play. I'm using the arrows, but nothing's happening. Let's go take a look. I've calculated the next position, but am I moving the player into the next position? Well, the answer is no. We need to change that. To change that, we're going to say transform dot position equals, and now we are going to make it think that this vector2 int is in fact a vector2, meaning not made out of integer numbers, whole numbers, but made out of decimal numbers, and just feed it the next position. That's it. Let's try it again. I'm showing you how code is made with the mistakes in them, right? Because us programmers make lots of mistakes. Okay, here we go. We're moving. Left, right, works. Up, down, works. Except, oh dear. Oh dear. We're going through everything. We're even going out of the world. That's not acceptable. Alright. So, we now have the movement, but what we need to do is we need to detect where all of the stuff is. Right? And that's a bit different. We can't use the script for the player to do that. We're going to have to use a bigger script, maybe that exists in our world. That would probably be good. So let's create a new script, which we're going to call world. Okay, and since we're here, we're going to immediately put it on top of the world object. Whoop. Let's do it again. There we go. So the world objects now has the world script. Let's open it. All right, again, we have a bunch of stuff here. Now for the world, we don't need update because we're not going to be using any inputs or anything like that. We need start. Start gets called one time at the very beginning when you launch the game. So for this one, the first thing that we need to do somehow is we need to keep track of where all of the stuff is. Okay? Now to keep track of this stuff is not going to be that easy because all of this stuff needs to have some kind of easily distinguishable thing on it. Some kind of object type that I can search for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another script, which I'm going to call entity. This just means a thing that exists. Okay, so let's open it first. There it is. And tell you what I'll do here. I'll remove everything. It's just an empty class. Entity. Right? We can then make it more complicated, but for the purposes of this particular sort of run through and quick development of a game, we're just going to create this empty thing called entity. And what we're going to do is we're going to give the entity to all of the walls. Let's begin with that. So we're going to go to the walls, expand it, right? Select the first wall, go all the way to the bottom, select the last wall and hold shift at the same time. So we selected them all. And I'm going to drag the entity right here. Plop. It's got the entity now. Awesome. So now the walls can be found very easily. So let's go back to our world. All right. The first thing that we need to create is a way to easily reach the world script from any other script. The player needs to be able to find the world script very easily. So we're going to say public static, which means it's expected not to disappear or change. Okay, world. So the type is going to be this very class, and we're going to call this one script. Some people call it instance. It doesn't particularly matter. The first thing we're going to do in start is we're going to say script equals this. This means this particular script itself. That's why I like to call it script, you see. All right, so whenever we want to reach the world and whatever is inside it from somewhere else, we need to type world.script, and boom, will be right here. Now this is called a singleton. This means there's only one of them in the scene at any one time. That's what we expect. Okay. Now what we're going to create here is we're going to create a dictionary that will contain the information for all of our walls, right? So we're gonna, and it needs to be public because it needs to be findable by outer sources. So we're gonna call it dictionary. Now dictionary expects two things, a key and a value. So a key is a unique element to this particular object. Now that's very simple. In our case, it will be its coordinates. Right? We can expect to only have one object on one tile. There aren't two walls on top of one another or anything like that. So we're going to create a vector2int as the key. This will be its coordinates. And then we're going to create an entity as a value. This will be what's inside the dictionary. Okay, we're going to call this one dictionary underscore walls. Now the first thing we need to create in start after script equals this is the walls. So we're going to say dictionary walls equals new dictionary vector2int entity closed. Okay, this means this now exists and it's ready to be filled up. So to fill it up with things, we're going to use a for each loop. Now this is a bit more advanced, right? For people who are completely new to code, I'll just briefly explain. This is a type of loop that will go through a certain list of objects and do something with each of them. But first we need to decide which type of object. Now that's very easy. We've created the entity system specifically for this. I'm going to call it E. Entity E. In, and now I need to say where I'm going to look for these. Now the world script is on the world object. The world object has a sub-object called walls. We need to go to this object to then search for all of the wall objects inside that have the entity on them. Okay? So we're going to go to walls first. To do that, we're going to say transform, which is our world, dot find. We're going to find its child that's called walls. Now we're inside the walls. And now we're going to say get component in children. And the component we're looking for is entity. So this means for every single object that has the entity script on it that is inside the walls, inside of the world, we will assign it to this temporary variable E. And then we can do something with E. What we're going to do with E is we're going to add it to the dictionary. So we're going to say dictionary walls dot add open round. Now it needs a key and a value. So the key is the position. For this we need to build the position, you may recall. So we're going to say new vector2int open round, right? And then we're going to say mathf round2int, as we said before. And now it's going to be e dot transform dot position dot x, comma mathf dot round2int e dot transform dot position dot y. That concludes our key. Now we need our value. That's very simple. The value is the entity itself, E. Done. So now we've added this to the dictionary. This means we have this everywhere. Okay? So now what we're going to create, now that we have the list and we know we can find it, is we need to create some kind of system to check if we can actually go there. Can we go to the next position as the player, or is there a wall? To do that, what we're going to do is we're going to test what is there in our next position. So we're going to create a public We're gonna make this really simple. Anybody who has written code before knows what I'm doing right now is a bit silly. It can be done a lot better. But I want to keep this very, very simple for all of the newcomers, okay? So we're gonna create a public string. This means it's gonna give us some text back, okay? And the string, and the request itself, we're gonna call it is get next entity type. Let's do that. Now it needs to receive some information. What information? It needs to receive the coordinates that we're interested in. This will be the next position that the player wants to go to. So vector2 int position. Okay, it's ready. It's still squiggly because it's saying that it's not returning anything. Because I've put string here, not void, it means we need to get information back. Now what we're gonna do here, at the end, if no condition is ever met, we're simply going to return ground. That means it's safe to walk on. Okay. Now let's check what we found. Okay, we're gonna say if, and we're gonna check if the dictionary of walls contains the key position. So if this position can be found in the walls, that means where we're going there is a wall. So if there's a wall, what we're going to do is we're going to stop. And we're not going to go there. All right? So we're going to return wall. Simple as this. Now let's go back to the player. Okay. And what we're going to do is we need to analyze that before we move. See, here's where we're moving. This needs to be done before we move. So we're going to create a switch. What a switch is like an if statement that has many options. So this one is only yes, no, true or false. This one is all sorts of possibilities. So we're going to go to world, script, get, next entity type, open, next position. Remember, we need to feed it a position. And now it's going to say case, oops, my bad. We're going to replace default with case wall. So if it's a wall, what are we going to do? Well, it's very simple. We're going to change the next position to the current position. So it doesn't matter what we calculated. Suppose that we're trying to go, I don't know, left, but there's a wall on the left. We're going to say, actually, your next position is going to be the current position. Sorry. All right. So we're going to then we're going to set this very position again. So nothing really changes. That's pretty cool. All right. Now this is happening all the time, so it's a little bit silly, really. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to change it a little bit, and we're going to add a. Actually, no, we're going to do it. Yeah, we're going to do it right here. We're going to add a boolean. Bool requested move equals false. And if at any point we want to move on all four of them, we're going to say requested move is true. Okay. And then down here, we're going to say if requested move, I'm sorry. And we're going to put all of this code in there. So only if we're requested to move, we're going to move the player. Otherwise, we're not going to worry about it. Okay. Yeah, in fact, we're going to be even more efficient, and we're going to cut all of this. No, we're not. We can't. It needs to be kept here. Okay, perfect. So requested move. If we find a wall, stop. Let's try it. I'm pressing up now and I can't go. I'm pressing right now and I can't go. Left moves, then doesn't. So I'm now constrained by the walls. I'm still not doing anything with anything else, but the walls are working. That's not too bad. It's a good start. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to switch gears a little bit and take a look at our user interface. You see, this stuff is in our camera. UI, health, for example, and the health has 3 hearts, etc. Right? Because the thing is, the next thing that our little hero needs to face is an enemy. And the way we said the enemies are going to work is that we kill them and they hurt us. That's the exchange. Okay? So let's begin with that. First of all, we need a variable for this. Okay? We're going to create a private variable, which is going to be of type int, which means a number, an integer. Okay? And we're going to call this one current health. We're going to give it a default value of 3. When we start the game, we're going to have 3 health. Another thing that we're also going to need, for sure, is, I'm going to put it right here, a public, okay? And this is going to be game object. It's going to be a list of game objects, an array, because it needs to have the 3 hearts, okay? And we're going to call this one hearts. Okay, now this is public. We'll assign it from the outside. Let's go do that right now. You'll see how this works. When you click on the player, need to wait a bit because it's compiling. Okay, when we click on the player has a hearts size 0. Now we have 3 hearts, so we're going to put a size of 3. Now we need to find the 3 hearts. Let's see. 0 is on the left, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so they're already in order. Let's give it to this heart 0. Heart 1 and heart 2. Okay, that's fairly easy. No problem. All right, and what we're gonna do now is we're gonna decide what happens with these enemies. But remember, we're only detecting the walls, so we gotta start detecting the enemies too. Now this is gonna be really easy. All we're going to do is we're going to create another dictionary by copying this previous one, and we're going to call this one enemies. Okay. And for this, we're going to repeat the same steps as before for the walls. We're going to copy this entire thing, put it right down here, and call this one enemies. Okay. Entity still, that's good. Entity E, find not walls, but enemies. Let's quickly check that this is correct. Yes, it's called enemies right there. Okay, so dictionary enemies, and the rest is already done. Now, when we then try to detect them, we need another one of these ifs right here. We're going to change this one to enemies. Again, we assume that each tile can only have one thing on it. Okay, return enemy. That's it. Now we can go back to the player. Here's our detection. For the wall, we do that. For the enemy, what do we do? Well, that gets a little bit more interesting. First things first, we're going to stop ourselves just as we stop for the wall. That's the first thing. The second thing that we need to do is we need to lose a health point. So we're going to say current health minus minus, which means current health minus 1. Okay. Then we need to remove a heart. Okay, to remove a heart, what we're going to do is we're going to make a thing, another method outside that we can call as many times as we want called update UI. Just like that. And what this is going to do is it's going to use a basic for loop, okay, that is going to start with an iterator of 0 and go to a certain length. What length? The amount of hearts. Hearts.length. Okay. And here we need to check if the iterator is lower than the amount of current health, then we want the game object of the heart to be active. If it's not, then the heart shouldn't be visible. So we're going to say heart set active false. That's it. And now all we need to do is we need to call update UI right here. It would be a good idea to call update UI at start too, but player doesn't have a start method. Let's create one. Right? We want to make absolutely sure that it looks correct right at the beginning. So we have 3 hearts at the beginning. All right. Current health minus minus, no problem. And now we need to do another thing. Think about it, right? We need to actually check if we're dead. Because if you have a health of 0, you're dead, right? So we're going to say if current health is lower or equals to 0. Now, you could just go equals equals. I like to go lower or equals in case there's something that hurts you by 2 points or whatever it is that you do in the future. So you just go safety, right? If the current health is lower or equal to 0, it means I am dead. What am I going to do? I'm going to destroy myself. Oops. Now there's another thing that we also said we're going to do to the enemy. We're going to kill the enemy. Now who knows where the enemies are and what they are, etc. The world. All right. So we're going to create another public. This one is going to be a void because we don't really care about what happens to it. We don't need any information back, and we're going to call this one kill enemy. It's going to need a position. Otherwise we will not know what enemy to kill. Okay. And we're going to do something very simple. We're going to take the dictionary of enemies, square bracket, it needs a key, the position. Okay, and we're going to say dot value, wait a moment, keys dot enemy position, dot game object, yes, and we're going to destroy it. Destroy, whoops, destroy, oh dear, I can't spell. Destroy dictionary enemies game object. And now we need to remove it from the dictionary. So we're going to say dictionary enemies remove position. Ta-da! Simple as this. Now the dictionary will not have that enemy in it anymore. The enemy will effectively disappear from the dictionary and from the world because we called destroy. So now we need to call kill enemy in the player. Say right here. Before destroy for sure, right? So let's do it right at the beginning. We're gonna say world.script.kill enemy next position. And it needs to be done before next position is then changed to the current position. Otherwise it won't work, right? This is the position we want to go to. That's where the enemy should be. Okay, that sounds good. Now since we're here, we can do another thing, which is the health. Right? So what are we going to do when we pick up health? Well, fairly easy. We just obtain an extra health point. Shall we test before then? Yes, let's go test. All right. There, we can move. The walls work. And there's an enemy. I've moved forward and I haven't detected it. There's a mistake. Why? Well, it's very simple. The enemies don't have the entity script on them. See? So let's drag the entity script on them and try again. Should work right away. I've pressed forward, I've killed the enemy, and I've lost a heart. See? Let's try again with another enemy. I've lost another heart. Now with the last attack on this last enemy, I will get to heart 0, I should die. And I did die. My player has disappeared. And I can't play anymore. Alright, so that's working. That's not too bad. All right. Now, the health are apples. Let's code those in. Again, we're going to need a way to keep track of all the apples. Easy. New dictionary, just like the previous one. Health. Copy the whole dictionary thing for the enemies. Health. 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 I think at least it's called health. Let's go check. It is called health. Good. All right, now we got the health. Now we need to do the detection. List of health contains the position. Return health. Okay. And now not kill enemy, but collect health. Or pick up health. Let's go pick up health. Position, dictionary, health. Position. Remove the health. Easy. Okay. Now let's go back to the player. The last thing we need to do in code, which is if we discover a health, what are we going to do if we discover a health? Oh, I forgot the closing quote. That's why it's unhappy. First of all, do we stop in the current position? No, we continue. We go over the apple. Okay. Now, world current pick up health for the next position. Easy. Current health plus plus. Now we need to check something. What is the health that we get? What if we pick up an apple and we already have 3? We're going to get to 4. That's no good. So we're going to check if current health is higher than 3. That's not what we want. We're going to say current health equals 3. We're gonna force it back to 3. What else do we need to do? Update the UI. Very important. Okay. Now, we've learned from our mistakes. Oh, by the way, this needs to happen after this, because otherwise we're going to have a current health of 4 while updating UI. UI is not going to know what to do. We're going to get a game crash. So we're not silly. We're not going to forget that we need to add the entity script to all of our health. So let's go to all of our apples, select them all, give it the entity. Boom. All right, save. I think I need to save the scene. Okay, so I've saved the scene, I think. Yeah, all good. Hit play and let's see what happens. Stuck, okay, good. Killed enemy, lost a heart. Killed enemy, lost a heart. If I kill another enemy, I'll die, so let's not do that. Let's go pick up this apple over here. I've picked up the apple and I've got an extra heart. Okay, so this is not a great test, so let's test it again. This time we're gonna try and go grab those apples before we kill another enemy. So the first apple we're gonna get correctly. The second apple we're also gonna eat, but not get any heart for it. Exactly right. So if we now kill an enemy, it should go down to 2. Ta-da! Awesome. That worked. All right, so we got that done. Nice. That's not bad. Now, let's deal with the keys and the treasure, right? The UI, you saw that we consistently get those 3 treasures and 3 keys, and that's just not right. So let's go and fix it. Again, it's going to be really, really simple. We're going to create 2 more dictionaries. Keys. Treasure. We're going to copy all of this. 1, 2. The level of zoom is too high for me. All right, keys, keys, keys. Then we're gonna check that the name is correct. Treasure, treasure, treasure. Quickly check. Keys right here, treasure right there. Awesome. Okay. Nice and easy, nice and easy. We need 2 of these again. 1, 2. Keys, treasure, key. We've collected a key, or we're going to collect a key, or we're going to collect treasure. Easy. Key or treasure. For this, we're gonna need a pickup key, pickup treasure. Okay, so pickup key, pickup treasure. Destroy dictionary. Keys, keys, treasure. Because everything is built exactly the same way, we can get rid of it exactly the same way. Now we can go back to the player, deal with it. Case, key, break, case, treasure, break. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go world script, pick up key, next position. And we're gonna say current keys. Oh, we don't have them. We need to create them. Same thing then. Private int current keys equals 0. We start with no keys. Public game object array keys. Private int current treasure. Oops. Treasure equals 0. Again, we start with 0. Public game object treasure. All right, it's easy enough. So let's quickly go and update UI. We're gonna do exactly the same for loop, only for the keys. So keys, 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 current keys. Same thing. And treasure, 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 current treasure. Okay, the UI is ready to do its thing. And now we just need to pick them up and do the stuff. So let's see. Pick up key remove it? Well, not necessarily. We need to check first if we don't have the maximum amount of keys already. So we're gonna say if current keys is lower than 3. So if we have less than 3 keys, then we can pick up the next key. So current keys plus plus, update UI. Otherwise, we do absolutely nothing. We walk on top of the key like nothing happened, and we'll ignore it. That's easy. All right. Now, for the treasure, we're simply going to say current treasure plus plus, pick up treasure. So we just pick it up, no questions. Nice and easy. Okay, awesome. The thing that we're going to have to do for sure is we need to assign a bunch of variables here. So let's go to our player. The player has 3 keys and 3 treasures in the UI. So let's expand the main camera, the UI, treasure and keys. Drag the treasure into the treasure, 0, 1, 2. Drag the keys into the keys, 0, 1, 2. Now there's a connection between these. All right. Now we can minimize this and put it away. And the second thing is we need entities on both the keys and the treasure. So I'm going to take all 3 treasures and drag the entity on them. All of the keys, drag the entity on them. Done. Simple. Let's try it out. We need to be able to pick up the keys. Can kill this enemy. There is a key. I've picked up a key. See, now there's 1 in my UI. Okay, I'm gonna kill this enemy too. Pick up another key. There's 2. Awesome. I'm going to avoid that blob, even though it doesn't matter at the moment because we haven't programmed it yet. Okay, so I've got 2 hearts. I'm gonna kill this enemy, kill the next enemy. Quickly pick up 2 more hearts. Kill this enemy. Use the key to open this. Oh, right, we haven't programmed the doors. So we can go right through them. Next step, doors. So let's just pick up the treasure. Treasure's gone, and it's now in our inventory. And the last heart. Everything's working. Awesome. Door time. I'm going quite quickly here. Okay. Same thing. All you need is a dictionary, doors, copy the dictionary, doors, 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 doors. Done. If the next step we're going to is a door, return door. We're gonna need a public void unlock door. Back to the position, destroy doors, and remove the doors. Perfect. Back to the player. Case door. Great. So if it's a door, we need to check if we have a key, because if we don't have a key, we can't open the door, right? So we're gonna say if current keys higher than 0, we have at least 1, right? Now we can open the door. World script unlock door, next position. Okay. We're also going to move into where the door was, so we're not going to change the next position to any degree. It's perfectly fine. But we need to reduce the amount of keys. Current keys, whoops, current keys minus minus. Now, because we're changing them, we also need to update the UI. All right. Test this again. This time we're going to do a simpler test. Kill this enemy, pick up this key, and let's go straight to this door. Haha! What did I forget? The entity, because I'm a potato. Doors, you need an entity. There we go. Save. Let's go again. Kill. Oh! What happened? Now I opened the door, but before I went right through it. Right, because we forgot that if I don't have enough keys, the game keeps going. No, no, no. What do we have to do? We need to treat this as a wall. Next position equals current position. So else, so if we don't have enough keys, at least one key, we can't open that door. Let's try this again. Kill the enemy. Pick the key up. Look at it. Boom, door opened. Okay, now let's test. Oh dear, I'm a potato. Okay, kill this enemy. Open this door. Kill this enemy. Go to this door. We don't have a key. Ready? Doesn't open. Let's go pick up a key. Now it opens. Not bad. And it's disappearing from the UI. Okay, everything's fine. Now, what else should we do? We haven't done our little blob. Right? So, that's a problem. We need to deal with the traps. Okay, last one. Should be simple by now. Another dictionary. Traps. All the way to the bottom of start dictionary. Traps. 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 Easy. Easy. Add one more. Traps. Trap. Now the trap doesn't need any particular interaction, it's just going to hurt us. So we can do all of it in here. Easy. So for the trap, I'm going to use the health because it's very, very similar. I'm going to put it right here at the bottom. Trap. So I don't need anything in the world. Current health goes negative, negative. Now remember, just like taking damage from the enemy, so let's steal this stuff right here. So current health minus minus, update UI, current health lower it, destroy. So it's gonna kill us. Right? So if we walk on a trap numerous times, we will die. Let's take a look. What did I forget? The entity on the traps. Yes. So I'm not even gonna test. There we go. Now everything should have entities now. There's a trap. I've got 2 hearts, 1 heart. I got 3 hearts, 2 hearts. I go away. 1 heart. I go away. Death. It's working perfectly. Our traps are there and they're an eternal hazard to us. Okay. That's fine. The last thing that remains is our princess. Now she's a bit special. There's only one of her anywhere in the level, right? So we're simply going to add a public entity princess. Okay. And in start, just before everything, we're going to say princess. No, I don't need anything actually. Haha, I don't need it. We already have her. Now all we need to do is we need to check if the next entity type is a princess. So we're gonna say if princess, we're gonna say new vector to int, open round. Again, we need a math f. Okay, let me be a little bit more tidy here. Math f. Oh blimey, why are you so far in? Round to int, open round, princess.transform.position.x, comma, this entire thing, but for the y, closing, equals, so if it's the same as our position, then what do we do? Return princess. Okay, we've returned the princess. Now, if the case is princess, number 1, we're not gonna move. We're gonna block our position. That's the first step. The second step is we need to win. Now, when we die, we destroy the game object. That's really easy. Okay? But when we win, Well, we don't really have anything set up for that. That's not nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a basic initial boolean, which means true or false, that is going to tell us if we're still in gameplay, right? Or player active. Let's call it like this. It starts with true. So all of the update, it's going to check if the player is active. And literally everything else is going to be inside it. That's a big time saver. And here we're going to say player active is player active is false. So the player is now turned off. We can't move him anymore. Now, one last thing we should do is we should update the text that we've got, right? So we've got a text in the middle of the screen, it just stays there. It needs to go away, loads of things. So first of all, we're going to add a using here, which means we're going to go to an external library. A library is basically code that somebody else wrote that we can use. You can see we're already using the Unity engine. These aren't being used because they're grayed out, so we can remove them. But we're going to leave them there. Whatever. Doesn't change much. What we need to use is TM Pro. This is what Unity uses for text. Right? And what this is going to allow us to do now is reach that text. So we're going to create a public. Okay. And we're going to call this one Text Mesh Pro. Call it TM underscore state text, for instance. Okay. So at start, we're going to remove the text. We're going to disappear it. Set text. We're going to just put an empty space there. Just like that. Okay. Now, let's find where we die. Here we die. See, destroy game object. Okay. We're going to say, you have been vanquished. ... And we're going to also add a color like red. Color equals red. Color. Okay. Now let's copy this one because we know we can die from traps too. There's the trap. Okay. But we also have one for winning. So we're going to set the text to you have rescued the princess. Color, let's go something bright like green. All right, that's a good color, so to speak. You have rescued the princess, it's going to say. Okay, the player is going to be inactive and we're going to be stopped. All right. Now our game should be fully testable. But who needs an entity? You know it. The princess needs an entity, and we also need to do a few more assignments. We need to, the player needs to know the text. See, it's missing. So let's go and get the text from the UI. Text state, there we go, state text, done. And we also need to give the world our princess. She's outside of the world. She's sort of like a special entity, right? Okay, there we go. Now, time to try. Yeah. Let's maximize and play this time. We want to see it in full force. All right. So the goal is go and rescue that princess. I'm gonna pick up this key. I'm gonna go through here, grab these 2 apples. I'm gonna kill this guy. Kill this guy. We got 2 more apples. I'm gonna kill this guy. Take this apple. Take this key. I've got 2 keys now. I can open this key, grab another key, kill this guy, open this key, go here, pick up a key, pick up the apple, and talk to the princess. You have rescued the princess! See, now I can't move anymore. That's working. Okay, now let's try to die. That's very easy. We got lots of enemies right in front of us. And then we're gonna die in a trap. 1 and 2. You have been vanquished. There's no way to restart our game, as you see. I'm not gonna teach you how to do that now. That takes a little bit more time. But okay, we're gonna kill this guy. Trap. Trap. You have been vanquished. Perfect. It's working. Okay, last thing we're gonna do for today and it's going to be very quick, is going to put sounds. We're going to put sounds everywhere. Okay, so for that, we're going to create a new script, which we're going to call Audio Manager. Okay, we're going to drag the Audio Manager on our audio source right here. So we can assume that the audio source is right where the Audio Manager is. Now we're going to open the Audio Manager. So the Audio Manager is going to need just a public function. Therefore, it needs to be a singleton. Public static Audio Manager script, just like the world. And this one is going to be a void awake. And in awake, script equals this. That's it. Now we're going to need a public void play SFX, play sound effects. And it's going to need a string SFX type. This is going to have a switch, just like the other one, SFX type. Okay, and it's going to be all of various things. So we're going to have case move. To move the player, there's going to be a sound. Okay, now we are going to need all of these sounds, so we're going to put them in a list. Public audio, not in a list, but rather in individual variables. Audio clip, and we're going to call this one SFX underscore move. So here we're going to say get component, which means we're going to get a component directly from the object we're on, which is the audio source, which has an audio source component. So that's very easy. Audio source. So we need the source. Play one shot. And for this one, we need to feed it the sound we want, SFX move, and the volume, which we're going to put the default volume of 1, which is 100%, like maximum loudness, basically. That's it. So all we need to do now for this is we need to call it when it's necessary to call it. So we're going to go to Alt Player, and whenever we move, right, we already know that the player is moving. If requested move, Audio Manager script play SFX move. Let's see. Nothing else should be needed? Yes, it is. We need to give it the sound. We need to assign the sound. Steps, it's called. Whoops. Okay, so I'll show you one trick that I like to do. I like to put my Audio Manager and generally most scripts at the top. So it's very easy to find every time. So steps. How does it sound? It sounds like that. Pop. All right, let's see. See, even when he doesn't move, he makes the sounds, which I'm fine with. That gives us an indication that we press the button. It's working. Fantastic. So, obviously, we can duplicate this everywhere. Everywhere we need it, right? Okay, so when we hit an enemy, we should have the sound for impact. It needs to happen before destroy, right? Otherwise, it's not going to work. So we're going to put it here. And we're going to say enemy. Just enemy, like that. Okay, what about when we pick up health? Well, same thing. This one we can put all the way at the bottom and call it health. What about when we pick up a key? If we can pick it up, key. What about when we pick up treasure? Treasure. What about when we open the door? Unlock door. What about when we can't unlock door? Door locked. What about when we hit a trap before we die? Trap. What about when we talk to the princess? Princess. Something like that. Easy. Right? Now, there should be a sound when we die too. So let's locate where we die. Right here, there's one. So we're going to say Audio Manager, death. And right here, Audio Manager, death. So there's going to be two sounds playing at the same time when we kill an enemy and we die, or when we hit a trap and we die. So now we need to set up all of these in the manager. Fairly easy. I'm just pasting a few, doesn't matter. Okay, so enemy, SFX. Now we don't have that one, right? We don't have an SFX enemy. That's not nice. Public audio clip, SFX enemy. Okay, so we said we have enemy, we have health, we have trap, we have unlock door, lock door, treasure, key, win, lose. Who knows what else I've forgotten. So enemy, okay, key, treasure, trap, unlock door, door locked, princess, death. Is there anything else? I'm not sure, so let's stop it here. I may have forgotten something. It will happen, you know. So enemy, yes, I forgot health. Let's do it right here. I knew I forgot something. I knew it! That's okay. Health. Key. Treasure. Treasure. Trap. Trap. Okay. Unlock door. Unlock. Whoa. Door. Unlock. Door. Door locked. Door locked. What else have we got? Princess and death. Princess. Princess. And the last one, death. Death. Sit play. No, we can't. We need to assign all of the sounds. Mike. Always careless. Alright, here we go. So win is gonna go princess. Treasure is gonna go treasure. Trap is gonna go trap. Steps is move. I've already done that. Key is key. Heart is health. Door unlocked is unlock door. Door locked is door locked. Death is down here. Attack is enemy. And now we're gonna hit play and everything should work. Let's see. I'm walking. Boom. I've killed him. I've killed him. Oh, I have been vanquished. That's a bad sound. Alright. I'm gonna grab 2 of these hearts. No, just 1. See that? I'm gonna kill that guy again. Pick up this. Kill this one. Yes, I wanted the treasure. Yes, I still got enough. I've got 2 keys, guys. This is brilliant. What about the trap? Oh no, that hurt me. That's okay. I'll kill this enemy. Open the door. Yes. Got a treasure. Got the heart. Get hurt. Perfect. Kill this guy. I've opened the door. Now we need to test a closed door still, remember? So we got a perfect test here. Let's waste on apple too. Yeah, that worked. Kill the guy. Killed another guy. Okay, what about this door? We can't go through. We're blocked. Okay, we got a key now. I have rescued the princess, guys. The game works. Congratulations. This is how easy it is to make a game. Now, one thing that we're gonna add if we build the game into a real game, never forget this one. People get mad if you do forget it, is you need to be able to turn off the game. So outside of absolutely everything in updating the player, we're gonna put if input get key down, key code escape, application, whoa, or some other stuff, application, quit. No, I do this every time, guys. Quit. There we go. Now we can exit the game. It's not going to work in the editor within Unity, but it's going to work if we build the game. And that concludes my demonstration of how easy it is to make a fairly fun and interesting game. You guys haven't even seen all the possibilities, but what if you challenged yourself, right, to get all of the treasures? What if you challenged yourself to get all of the treasures and kill all the enemies? What if you challenged yourself to get all the treasure, kill all the enemies, and pick up all the apples and all the keys and open all the doors? Aha! Perhaps I have planned all of this in the game design, haven't I? Who knows? Well, I'm going to leave that to you folks. In the description of this video, you will find everything you need to do this yourself, including the completed scripts. And you can pause it and go back as many times as you need to sort of figure it out for yourselves. And you'll be able to download the project and use it yourselves. This was done with Unity 2018.3.1, I believe. But I mean, it's such a simple game that it should work in later versions of Unity as well. And with this, I bid you farewell and I wish you good luck. And have fun coding. It's one of the best things in the world. Bye-bye.